Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic Unleashed for the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Wii. In this part, we're heading back to Holoska because after 2 sets of day stages, it is time once again for the Werehog. And we only have one other stage available to us, so it has to be Holoska. So the first thing we're going to do is we've once again got to get our moon tablet to access the night stages. So we'll speak to Sariana, I believe her name is. And once again, her husband isn't too keen on, well, doing his duties because he's supposed to be the guardians of the temple. Which is weird because you have guardians in Holoska, but the boss, not Holoska, there's a usual guardians in Shamar, but the boss of Shamar is called the Dark Guardian. I don't get it. Also, what does that make the Dark Gaia Phoenix and the Dark Moray? Is it like they are the humans are the guardians of the Gaia Gates? Is that the way it works? And then you have the Temple Guardians? So now we've got to try and cheer up Jari Thur. If you listen to my story... Sorry, if you listen to my troubles. She's been calling me a big chicken. Here I am, supposed to be one of the guardians of the temple, and I let everybody down. Do you think I'm a big chicken? Nah, you're a fine, understanding man. And yeah, you can call him a fraidy cat, which is odd, because I thought he was a chicken. I'm pretty sure cats eat chickens. If they got the opportunity, I'm sure they would. But he'll give us the moon tablet. But just before we enter the Gaia Gate once again, we just have one last little thing. We've got to get our CD in. Unlike the other hub worlds, we get the CD from the same person. Look, we didn't even need to go back over there. We just immediately speak to Sariana. So let's head over to the family home. It's odd, because I thought that all 4 of them... There's only 4 people there. Why do they have one igloo each? So, adorable little Marquita is going to give us something to say thank you. Sonic must be feeling perfectly fine in this environment right now. I mean, he doesn't seem to feel the cold in general, including in the daytime, but he can't be feeling the cold now. He's super hairy, and the title for the first Werehog part was right. He still isn't as hairy as that thing that is in the movie trailer. Oh my god, the Sonic movie trailer. Why? Just why? I mean, I'm going to see that film, but that doesn't even look like it's on the so bad it's good category. It doesn't help that I know they're all saying Jim Carrey is going to be the only good thing about that movie. That's my problem immediately, is I'm not really a fan of Jim Carrey. I find his performances to be too over the top. Granted, I haven't seen that many of his movies, so, you know, I could be very wrong. But from what I have seen, he's very over the top. And I'm just worried that they're going to do it again. I'm not even sure how I feel about him playing Eggman. I mean, throughout most of the film, it looks like he's just going to be a generic-looking person. I'm guessing by the end, it looks like he turns into regular Eggman. I don't know when I'm not going to know when that transformation happens. But it looks like for most of the film, he's just generic person, and then he becomes normal Eggman in what appears to be Mushroom Hill in the background. He's just surrounded by a great load of mushrooms. But yeah, and then Sonic's design... Oh my god. I mean, word is that they're now going to try and redesign Sonic, but given how much he's going to be in the movie, I don't know exactly how it works, but something tells me that movie's going to be delayed if that's what they do, and if they can't delay it, then it's not going to be much of a redesign, I imagine. If they're going to keep the fur, that's fine. It's the face. And the limbs. The limbs more than anything. Everybody comments on the face and for some reason the teeth. The teeth don't really bother me, but no, the limbs are what bother me. That first shot where we see the back of Sonic doing those stretches, I literally felt sick. It makes me feel nauseous a bit just looking at it. It's so disturbing. And, you know, everything else is realistic. You know, it's in a real world setting. You got rather generic Sonic 06 robots. Yeah, it's... And as far as we can see, only Sonic is in the film, which makes me wonder, what's the point? Like, what's the point of giving him a real world setting and then only feature Sonic? I think it would work better if his friends were there as well. I don't know if that would really improve the whole real world setting thing. But I just find it odd how it's only Sonic. I mean, we haven't seen much of the trailer yet. But that also terrifies me. It's like, if Sonic's friends are in the film, what are they going to look like? Like, what are Tails and Knuckles and Amy going to look like? I dread to think, because then they would definitely need to delay the film. But at least we've got Detective Pikachu. I've only ever played like 5 hours on Pokemon ever in total. But that film looks great. I really can't wait to see that film. Actually, I think it comes out in like 2 days. So I am very much looking forward to it. We need a good video game movie, for crying out loud. We need one. Even if it's only reasonably good. That still makes it by far the best video game movie ever made. I mean, I haven't really seen any. I think the only video game movie that I've ever watched that I can think of, Wreck-It Ralph doesn't count, is Ratchet and Clank, and I did not care for that movie. These guys are just like the wind enemies, except they shoot ice, which will freeze Sonic for a little bit. But how we've had lots of video game movies, and any of those that are liked, they are liked for the wrong reasons. Because I think even Super Mario Brothers now has a cult following, and I think even Shigeru Miyamoto, I was going to call him Mr. Miyamoto then. I mean, that's who he is, but still. I think even he says that he actually kind of likes that movie. I've never watched it, and I don't think I ever want to. Then I've no interest in Assassin's Creed, no interest in Angry Birds. What others are there? Well, I know there's a Street Fighter film that I hear is also, like, that is one of the ones that is so bad it's good, and I guess that's why Mario Brothers has a cult following, and Mortal Kombat as well. At least the first one. I know that one got a sequel. Sorry, you have to shout it out. Mortal Kombat! As they will not let you forget the name. I want to say this is the first time we're meeting these guys. So these are spikes. That is literally the name. There is nothing spiky on them. Actually, there's like a few tiny spikes on their heads. So these guys are an enemy that's exclusive to this version. And yet they're quite common in this version. So they don't physically attack Sonic, but what they will do is they'll try and remain close to Sonic so that he'll accidentally hit them, which activates a trigger, and then you'll see that glowy bit on their head that will begin to get bigger and bigger and bigger. There's like a ticking sound effect of some sort, and then after a while it blows up. It will damage enemies as well. It can break certain objects. You're going to be seeing them in a few of the Gaia Gates, actually, where you need them to blow up specific walls. Because Sonic can pick up and throw them. He can attack them, but they have very large health bars. I think the only way you can actually defeat a Spike and get its health bar down is when you're in Unleashed mode and you use the final attack. Like that I believe, is when you can actually defeat one. And when you do get its health bar down, it deactivates the explosive. Like, it won't explode, it sort of just falls to the ground, flattens, and then just disappears. But so rarely does that happen. The ticking does... The timer is quite long, though. You're better off just throwing them. The problem is, Sonic doesn't really throw them very far. It's like they do tend to just explode. Usually right next to Sonic, apart from a few occasions. I've never... oh, I'm dying. I'm never sure exactly how far they're going to go, which makes me nervous when I want to try and get rid of them and I'm surrounded by enemies. Yeah, it'll injure the enemies, but it'll most likely injure me. Anyway, that previous level was called the Aurora Snowfields, and it's probably the shortest Werehog level in the entire game. With, I'd say, 2 competitors that aren't going to be into... Well, actually, they're in the last 2 Werehog areas. Which, granted, oh, look, there is only 2 more. Well, no, actually, there's Eggman Land. What am I saying? Eggman Land has Werehog. Our second stage is Ice Flow. This one's pretty short as well, and they're really generous with the time limit for this. Like the time limit for this level is 9 minutes. What you're trying to try and beat is 9 minutes, which is really generous. The level itself isn't that big, but that said, usually when I get here, I die a lot. Surprisingly, I don't die here, but normally I die a lot. It's alright, that's what Jungle Joyride's for. I die a lot there. The shimmying, I find, can be quite unresponsive. Like, you saw I was hanging there for a while, not doing anything. It's like, I move the analog stick to get Sonic to move, and he just doesn't do anything. His shoes are clipping through the ice there. Yeah, it's like Sonic doesn't really do anything. And I don't know what the cause of that is. And that can happen as well when the camera angle changes. I think what it wants you to do is it wants you to physically let go, and I hate that icing box. It wants you to physically let go of the analog stick and then push it in the same direction. You can't just tilt the analog stick while you're pushing it. But even then, I don't find that always works. So Ice Flow, this level was a real pain on my first playthrough. Because the thing with my first playthrough, and I think I did mention this in a previous part, is I was really confused by the life system. I thought, well, surely if I die, I lose these lives. I want to keep these lives. So I didn't know that I would keep them and like get back any of the ones I lost when I finish a level. But I also figured out that if you restarted the level, I got my lives back. Even though the only other Sonic game I played at that time was Heroes, and I lost a life when I restarted. So every time I died, I restarted the level from the very beginning. And this one drove me nuts as a result. Because there's some quite precise platforming in this level towards the end. And, well, you can't really do precise platforming with how light the Werehog's jump is. So I died so many times and I restarted this level so many times. It took me until Jungle Joyride, which I did after Arid Sands. I think I did anyway. So it was the second to last Werehog level where I was just like, right, I've had enough. I think I did restart it a few times and I was just like, right, I've had enough. Let's just keep going. And then I was like, oh, I get my lives back. Wow, I really regret restarting every single level now. And yeah, I do. That could have been so much better if I didn't keep restarting the level. It's still a weird system in general. Like, it's the only game I know that does this with the lives. Because with the other games, you know, you either can only collect the life and not get them back. You know, the classic games, you have stuff like continues and everything. And then when it was Sonic Adventure, you kept your lives. Well, Sonic Adventure had the save feature, but you also lost a life any single time you restarted a level. Which didn't really mean anything, because in Sonic Adventure, restart means take you back to the checkpoint, which I really don't like. So what's the point of a restart function if it just takes you to the checkpoint? Actually, 06 did that as well. With 06, it took you back to the first section. It took you back to the beginning of the section rather than the checkpoint, but still. It's like, I want to restart, and I don't want to have to keep going all the way back to the main menu. I'm still dealing with your loading screens, but still. At least that one's faster. Cannon's Core may just start right from the beginning if you hit restart. But Cannon's Core also saved your score at the start of each section. It's not useful when you hit checkpoints, but other than that. Usually I'm a sucker for nice water flowing graphics. Not in this game. I mean, it's PS2, I'm not expecting that much. I don't know if the water looks any better on the Wii version. I know that there are several things that do, so maybe it does. But this water looks freaking ugly. I mean, it is moving. I wouldn't say it's really flowing water, it's just a flat graphic that moves. That's about it. And I'd say it's a bit choppy in its movement at that. Also, the water is a solid object, because if you, well, I think Sonic just falls through it, but if you hit these guys into the water, they land on the water and they just explode. And it's not like they fall into the water, they just land on it and explode. Yeah, I actually managed to do this part on my first try, though I nearly messed up that jump. There's an invisible wall for a bit, but I think if you go far down enough, the invisible wall does disappear. But by that point, you shouldn't have to worry about running off the edge before it cuts to the results screen. And that, I would say, is Cool Edge's hardest night stage. The third one isn't too bad. Visually, I'd say this is probably the least interesting of the night stages. I mean, you're looking at ice. You're not really going to be seeing that much. It's ice and rock and the odd other thing here and there. You know, ice can look nice. I do like the look. And it sounds weird. I like the look of ice. I swear that it makes sense to me anyway. It's like I like the look of water. I always do like a nice little gentle flowing water. But I find it's the same with ice. And the HD version, day and night, you know, I mean it's the HD version. The game is freaking gorgeous. And it does look good. The ice looks incredibly realistic actually. That, and there's a bit more variety in terms of the colours. Here, day, it's pretty much blue and white with a bit of grey, and here it's the same thing with less white and more blue. This one's a little bit different. So now we're in the Temple of Ice. And no, apparently this is not the Gaia Temple. There is a separate temple. So how does this work? Do we have the temple that is a temple for the Gaia Gate that leads to the Temple of Ice that leads to the Gaia Temple? Why does Holoska have so many temples? In this version anyway. It's like neither there's only one temple in the HD version. Anyway, this, surprisingly, there are absolutely no ice physics in any of this. Again, that tilting platform that has that really annoying item box in... Well, it's in one of the missions, but technically the day stage. Those are the only ice physics you will encounter in this game. Nowhere else in the day stages is there ice physics, nowhere in the night stages. The HD version does have a few areas with ice physics, and it's a pain, which I don't get because the Werehog has cleats on his shoes. Like, those things are freaking spiky. As are his socks, actually. But you'll never encounter any sort of ice physics in this version of the game. Other than that one tilting platform. For some reason. So go down there so you can raise the door. And then head on up here. tricks you with the camera a bit here. So if you go... Well, firstly, let's grab this, because I want my Gaia Force to get the S ranks and the upgrades and the medals. Go into here, and boom. There we go. There's a few times where it does stuff like that. We sort of had one in the first level. Well, the second level. Whichever it was. I think it was... No, it was the first level. And you got more of these Gaia Force keys. This is where I found out if you use your jumping attacks, you can actually break through the ice blocks faster. I don't get it. So, why did my jump attacks get this thing down faster? This is kind of annoying. Once Sonic actually decides to go upwards, you'd think that these... You'd definitely think that there would be ice physics here. But there isn't. What we do have are Dark Bat snipers, so they're going to try and shoot at you while you're on the ice. And the thing is, Sonic has no shadow when he's on the ice. So it's kind of difficult to judge where you are. And then you want to try not just to walk off the edge. I mean, maybe the cleats work here, because there's no ice physics. I don't know where his shadow goes, though. I mean, you can say that a lot in the HD version, where for some reason Sonic loses his shadow a lot in that version. And even when he does have it, it isn't really useful with judging Sonic's positioning. Whereas here, he always has a shadow, except for that one bit. We're going to be in this room for a mission later on, and I really hate it, because it's another one of those don't destroy everything missions. Sorry, don't destroy anything missions. And you actually have to face enemies in that one without breaking anything. And of all the enemies that they have you fight, it's the spikes, which can explode and you want to try and throw away, and the killer bees. Of all enemies, they make you fight the killer bees. With even more things you can't break than what we're seeing here. Needless to say, that don't break any objects missions are usually the worst, day or night. Especially night, though. When actually, I say the day, it's probably the don't get hit missions that are the worst ones. Especially Eggman Lands. I hate Eggman Lands. Ow. Guys, I was about to slam him to the ground and take out two at once, maybe. Oh boy. So even though we were only introduced to one at the very end of the last night stage, it's time for two Titans at once, complete with lots of spikes! Yes, take out the Titans for me, Spikes. Or not, I can do it instead. This is all you're doing. Spikes are really boring. But we are going to be seeing some of them in the Gaia Gates later on as well. Anyway, once I grab this last set of rings, go down here. Break the last few things of ice to get the force. And there's our goal ring. In the middle of a dead... We went the wrong way, Sonic. It's a dead end. Yeah, it was in the middle of a dead end. Well, I guess it is in the middle of that room. Unless we're going upwards where that light's coming from. Yeah, again, really, really generous time limit. It's weird how the night stages have such generous time limits, but the day stages are so strict. Like, even when you're not searching for all the items, a lot of the day stages have very strict time limits. Dragon Roads is really easy. Rooftop Run, Arid Sands, Jungle Joyride and Eggman Land are not so easy. So it's a bit weird on how some are fine, some aren't so fine. But anyway, that's it for Cool Edge Nights. Now, we're finally going to be unlocking some new locations. We haven't done that for a while. So we're going to head back over to Spagonia to speak to Professor Pickle. And I will see you guys then.